Hey guys, David here, the world's busiest car nerd. Hopefully somebody gets that reference. The Acura Integra Prototype has officially been unveiled. After many videos of speculation, talking, rumors, we have our answer. And thankfully here on this channel, we all collectively pretty much guessed what was going to happen. And we were pretty much right. Except, I think it's even worse. So let's talk about the unveiling itself, what I think about the styling, what I think about the drivetrain, and most of all, the reaction of the internet to this car. Out of all the unveils of 2021, this definitely, in my opinion, had the biggest negative reaction out of any of them. So we're gonna go through some comments, go through some articles, debate it maybe, and it's not gonna be pretty, so let's get to it. So, first things first with the unveiling, they have a pretty cool visual setup with the background and the bright colors, and they get up on stage and say, it's a new dawn, it's a new car, the Integra is coming back. Acura is now going to be the performance division of Honda, which I'm gonna get to later, but that's not what I think of Acura, to be honest. I think of it as the luxury brand. Wasn't that what it was supposed to be when it came here? So anyway, Acura now states that they are the performance brand of Honda. So expectation is already getting high. And they say that they're going back to their roots, that they claim that this car is gonna bring back part of the old generation of Acura. And they say it's gonna be the gateway model of a higher level of Acura. So, you know, I'm thinking while watching this live stream, maybe it won't be like the renders. Maybe it'll be just a little bit better. And then they start playing this video with the DC2, which is kind of a mistake in my opinion. It's kind of a mistake to show the older cars to remind you just how different this car was going to be when it was unveiled all of these years later. You show the DC2, your expectation is the DC2 or even the RSX, and then the video plays and the car starts to appear. And during this video, they're saying that hip hop culture is integrated with Acura culture, and this is what the kids are doing these days, and I just don't see it. When I see a DC2, I don't think of hip hop culture. Sure, it's been an album cover car for a lot of different things, and it's also been a car in the tuning world. But maybe they're talking about Ja Rule getting gap ties in Fast and Furious. Sucks I missed Fire Festival. Sorry, last time, Ja. You make it so easy. The car gets unveiled, it rolls out on stage, it gets on the podium and slowly does this turn to make this kind of dramatic unveil kind of vibe. But it's so slow to the point you're like, so we gonna talk about it? Basically, the music stops and there's silence in the audience, and the speaker on stage just goes, all right.
All right.
Look, it is hard being a public speaker. I'm not criticizing the public speaker. He didn't have a lot to go on. The car came out, people weren't yelling and screaming as the car railed out. The journalist just kind of sat there and said, so ILX? No? No. Oh, it says Integra on the side of it. It must be an Integra. He goes on about how it's the Integra of the next generation and says it's sleek, like the old Integra, and it doesn't come off as sleek. It seems bubbly and big. Even though it's not a crossover, an SUV, or anything like that, it kind of seems like one, kind of lowered. What I find so ironic about the unveil is one of the lines the announcer says, or the public speaker says, is that they're flipping the script on a revolution of SUV and crossovers when it looks like a crossover. And the excuse for this room and this big car is that it's for active lifestyle. Which, by the way, thank you Acura, you gave it a manual transmission, which is awesome for my active lifestyle. I'm sorry, I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that one. And the DC2 was an active lifestyle on track and driving in the mountains and driving on the street. That's what I think of the Integra. I think the brand of the Integra is a fun, accessible tuner car that didn't have to be super high horsepower, or anything like that, which I'll also get to later. And they say that it's clearly inspired by the DC2. What on earth were you clearly inspired by? The taillights is what really takes me out of it, to be honest with you guys. The taillights make it look like it's a four-door Genesis Coupe. And the Genesis Coupe taillights are so close to this car. Don't get me wrong. Design language on cars, on modern cars, of course there's gonna be similarities to different cars in the market. That's always going to happen. But when they're that close, I cannot unsee it. And yes, there's a four-door Integra, but it looked a lot like the two-door DC2. And it said it had this dramatic sloping roof, and I'm just like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what you're selling. And the giant decal on the side should not have been on that car. It comes off as forced. It comes off of, it's an Integra, we promise, as we install this sticker on the side of the car. Sure, I like that the Integra logo is embossed inside the front and rear fascias, but the sticker's gotta go. Imagine if they put Nissan Z at a weird angle on that thing. That would have looked so obnoxious. But at least the Nissan Z kind of looks like a Datsun, so... They then state that it's the first turbocharged factory Integra, which is true. It's probably a Civic Type R motor, like we predicted in our last video. It's probably gonna be just a nicer Civic Type R under... Oh, they used the Civic Si 1.5. And you're the performance division of Honda? Maybe they're saving that for a Type S or Type R later, but I digress. I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about the development of the Integra, kind of like the Z06's amazing documentary they made for the unveiling. And at the same time, the Nissan Z even had an unveiling talking about why they made the decisions they did. That's it. This is our prototype Integra. See you later. It's a 7-minute long presentation and it ends abruptly.
Thank you to everyone for joining us online.
And here's the thing, if the design of the car was sales driven, as in listen, coupes aren't selling as much anymore. This is why we made it this way. We tried to do a different audience. If they were transparent about all this, I wouldn't be as like thrown off. Does that make sense? It'd be like, okay, times are changing. The automotive market is a really tough market. At least you're telling us the truth. When you try to tell us that it's a successor to the DC2 or the RSX, bro, come on. That's absolutely insane to me. And will Acura ever recreate the magic of the old days, of the Integra and the RSX? Probably not. It's hard to say because the technology was different. The high revving VTEC engines were different when they're naturally aspirated. And now I'm really appreciating the Civic Type R even more because just go by that. The Civic is faster than the Integra. And if the first Integra is slower than the Civic Type R, why wouldn't you just go buy the Civic Type R? That's what I'm having trouble justifying, even though they're pricing this car around $30,000, which is great. But it's priced at $30,000 because it has a 1.5 liter turbo in it and not the 2.0 in it. What the car industry has taught all of us on this channel the past 3 or 4 years is that branding is everything. If you misbrand cars, your company looks dumb. It looks bad. It looks lazy. If you change the name of this to an ILX or a baby Type S of, say, the TLX or something, fine, no one's gonna be mad. You come with an expectation when you bring back a name like Integra or Mustang Mach-E. The Mach-E is a great name, but when you put the Mustang onto it, it gives a false expectation. It gives a false presence of this vehicle. You don't want people to get in a certain car they think is a Toyota Supra and get a BMW seatbelt chime or get a BMW interface. You don't want that to happen. It takes the magic away. It takes the legacy away from previous cars. That poor legacy of the Mitsubishi Eclipse, it has suffered because you don't think about the old cool tuner car anymore. You think about the trash they're making now. I'm not saying the new Integra is going to be a trash car. It's just not an Integra to most people. And I am not alone. So if any journalist is watching this and you're calling us all big babies, It's not the car itself, it's the branding. That's the problem. If you want to say we're whining, tell them to stop naming cars that are legendary and just making it a cash grab. That's what it feels like. It's the interpretation of the vehicle, not the car itself. I'm sure it'll drive really nice. But while we're at it, speaking of that internet reaction, let's go through some spicy stuff and maybe try to rebuttal it. Slap Train, good friend of mine, great YouTube creator. This isn't real, is it? Not like this. I mean, it's true. When you saw it roll up on stage, you're like, no, that can't be it. There's no way. Even my fiance Alejandra, who drives our DC2 all the time, was like, you're joking, right? That cannot be it. There's no way. S3 Magazine and the disappointment of the decade award goes to... All right, gentlemen, we can save money by never building and certifying manuals again. How do we end it? Let's make the new Integra. Make the new Integra a 5-door ILX with a dog water engine that drives like a microwave and use horrendous sales in a bean counting gospel. That's a great comic because it feels like it's more about the bottom line and not the legacy of the product. And some of my favorite comments on the reveal itself, the fact that he did this with a straight face and was serious the whole time is mind-blowing. Just call it the 2023 ILX and start over with a real Integra remake. Look, building a new car takes years. The R&D, the development, making it safe, meeting safety standards, that's all really difficult. And they can't go back. It's over. Acura has spent the R&D money. This is the new Integra. No ifs, ands, or buts. Imagine McDonald's saying the McRib is back, and then when they unwrap the sandwich, it's a plain hamburger. People hate this car so much because there's already articles about how it's not so bad. Yeah. I love how they use the big Integra logo for people to know it's Integra and not the new ILX with a facelift. Exactly our point this video. I've used this metaphor before. It's like movies. There's just endless sequels, endless remakes, and 90% of the time, why did they bother? It's usually a CGI mess that looks 10 times worse than the old movie and it loses all of its charm. Does it happen sometimes? Of course it does, but very rarely. The Nissan Z and the GR86 are still winning the Japanese car market when it comes to sports cars. Even though the GR86 is probably slower than this car in a straight line, I don't care. I would go buy the rear-wheel drive, 2-door coupe. That's fun. This literally looks like your wife said, you want a sporty car, this is all you get. You have to basically check all the boxes. And if you're already there, go buy the Civic Type R. That's all I got to say about that. All right, what'd you think about the Civic? I mean, the Integra, ILX. What'd you think about it? Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think the articles are wrong? Let me know in the comment section below. And I upload on Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.